Hi, welcome back. I'm Daniel Hylton. I hope you had a really good week. Now, it's autumn, and this week I had intended to do an autumn scene. But if you don't mind, I'd like to do something a little easier today. If you indulge me a minute, I'll explain why. It's no big deal, but I do have this ongoing health issue. It's being monitored and managed, but every so often it flares up and gives me a few difficult days, and afterwards I feel pretty tired, pretty weary. Well, it's been that kind of a week. So I think I'll push off the autumn scene to next week and do something easier. By easier, I mean a mountain scene. Probably a variation on the painting we did the first week, a mountain and a lake. The reason those types of scenes are easier is because between the sky, the mountain, and the lake, the artist can cover a lot of canvas very quickly. So it's a little easier to do it in 30 minutes. The second reason is that conifer trees are a little easier to render on canvas and make them look right than deciduous trees, which require a little bit more attention to detail. So with your indulgence, we'll do an easier painting this week. A mountain, like I said, a variation of the first painting we did. So let me get my glasses, start the timer. Let's paint. I'm not going to worry too much about the sky today. I'm going to try to make it look like, you know how sometimes there's the sky has these clouds that kind of are broken up a little bit. I'm going to try to do something like that today. Let it be a little lighter down here at the bottom. Put a little more blue in there, I guess. Don't want to really make them, don't really want to make them look like X's so much, but, well, and they look a little bit too much like X's for me, so I'm gonna do this. Okay, let's blend that in. Let's blend it in and live with it unless it's terrible. Well, that bristle won't give me a break. Okay, I think today I'm going to have several mountains. So, oops. Let me get into this. And let's see. Let's have a mountain in the back here. Maybe got a kind of a broken peak on him. Kind of rough. Let's have a mountain like this. Okay. And then let's have another one. Maybe it's even a little taller and kind of rough and broken off on the sides here. Yeah. Well, they look too much alike, so I'm going to fix that one. Give a little more. Okay. And then maybe one that runs off here into the background. All right, let's do that. And get my brush here, and let's see, I better use a new brush for this. And bring on, sorry if I'm in your way here, don't mean to be. Okay, I actually want, no, I think I want this mountain to be in the foreground. All right, let's work a little gray. I think I have the sun over there today, so let's work a little gray into these. Okay, something like that. Kind of have that break up a little. Down in here where it can be seen. Now let's put a little lighter gray on the side where the sun is. Kind of have that break up a little bit. Okay, like that. And we need that to kind of break up a little bit too. Okay. And that'll probably work all right. All right, let's go to the back of the darker color. I didn't have quite enough of that over here. Now let's put a little snow on these peaks. Maybe it's fall and we've had the first bit of snow. Just a little bit up here. Something like maybe that. Okay. Get that gray off my knife. Get a little more titanium white on it. And let's see. Maybe that peak there is back in the sun a little bit. We know this one is. And that one. I'm going to have a little more white up there on top. Up here. A little brighter maybe. And that a little brighter in this one. A little brighter. Okay. Okay. Let's get some shadow color in there. A little white and blue. A little bit of Mars black, mostly white and blue. And let's have a little bit of shadow color in there. Yeah, I don't really want too much. I'm going to have a few trees climbing up these slopes too, so put a little bit of that there. Okay, that's got to be. Okay, I got to clean that up just a little bit. I got to clean that up a little bit with some white. We're doing for time. Okay, and I want to have that in front. A little bit of white there. There. And I want that a little brighter. There we go. Nice little white patch. Okay. Now I'm going to have some trees going up these mountains. Just a little bit. Just so it looks like there's trees back there. Gonna have some foothills in the front, but I just want a few. Okay, I'm gonna have to darken that a little bit and make it look like there's a little bit of demarcation there. Maybe these trees are climbing up into the rocks a little ways. Okay, need to darken that up a little bit on top of that so it looks like there's kind of a ridge there. There we go. And excuse me. Okay. Yeah. Oops. Need to have some darkness on that ridge too. So it looks like, okay. You know what, that's going to be good enough. Now let's get some foothills going in the foreground here. Mix up a little color here. That looks pretty good. Okay. Let's have a foothill right here. Now it needs to be darker on the side away from the sun. Over here. And we're going to come down to a lake right here. Yeah, we need to be a little darker here down on this side. And let's lighten that one up a little bit on that side. Put a little hump in there. And let's have one that's a little bit closer. I'm not going to have much lake, am I? Well, you know what? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, I'm going to have this one here kind of come up. Let me get it all in here first, and then I'll darken up that side away from the sun. This side will look a little brighter. Yeah. Okay. Told you I was tired this week. Forgot to put my lake in. See if we can do this, huh? I told you I was a little bit weary today, so I forgot to put my lake in. Don't want to get all that green mixed up in it. Well, we're going to have some reflections back there anyway, so that'll be all right. All right, let's go back to how are we doing for time? We're doing good for time. Okay, let me go back to my... No, that's not that brush, this brush, okay. And let's get these foothills. Now I want to darken up the sunward side of these a little bit. And make it look like there's a ridge right there. Okay. And let's darken up the sun. Need a little more than that. And want that to be a little more clearly defined there. So I'll just go sideways for a moment. And I want to vary the color so these look like they got hills and hollows in them, bumps or whatever. Okay, let's pull us down some. Let's pull us down. I don't like my reflections to be too well defined, but you know, there needs to be some reflections. So now I want to take this brush here, and that back there is way too even. Yeah. Shorelines, never that even. Yeah, there we go. Let's do that. Okay. Now let's take this brush. Let's use the big brush here. Okay, that'll work. Now I'm going to have a pretty tall foothill over here. It's a little darker. I'm going to have a little more detail on this one. I need more detail than that. I'm going to put I want some dark color in there. Because I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get, let's see. I can do it with a little fan brush, can't I? I'm going to get over here, and I'm going to give this a little more definition. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. And give that a little more definition like this, a little closer. You can kind of see the trees. Can you see what I'm doing there? Kind of make it where you can see the trees a little bit all through it. Get some dark color here, and I don't want it to be all the same. I need to kind of vary where I'm putting them, so it kind of looks like, you know, they're all over the hillside. Okay. How are we doing for time, folks? Oh, we're doing okay. What do we got? We got about 9 minutes left. Okay, we're doing okay. I don't want to be too well defined, but I want it to look like you can see some trees back over there. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's see. Let's go ahead and use this. I guess we'll pull some reflections down out of that. And I guess we'll use the big brush again and just go across. Okay. You know what? I think, see, what have I got here? Oh, I got 13 minutes. Yeah, I got 13 minutes here. Okay, well, you know what? Let's go across here and kind of make look like it comes down, and maybe there's some grassy areas there. Okay. Not back there. That's going to be a little too far away. And now let's pull that down again. Just to kind of give it a flat surface there. And use this again. Okay. Now we got to put a shoreline in back there. I'd like to use a little bit of gray. I don't know what that's going to look like though. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. No, we're going to have to use white. That's not going to show up well enough. Oh, I meant to mention, I got a little grief from my for all the disparaging things that I said about potato salad last week. And I get it. I get it. A lot of people like potato salad. My wife loves potato salad. She makes it for herself all the time. My mother loved potato salad. But here's the thing. I have always known that I didn't like salads of any kind. In fact, my mom likes to tell the story of when I was about 4 years old. And I already knew I did not like salads of any kind. It includes potato salad, green salads. Now, I do choke down a green salad once in a while now because my wife and the doctor insist on it. But when I was 4, I already knew I do not like potato salad or salads of any kind, green salad, any kind. So one day when I was about that age, I asked my mom, I said, Mom, is there going to be salad in heaven? The implication being that if there was, I didn't really want to go. But my mom was a very intelligent, very clever woman. And she she knew exactly how to. She said, yes, honey, there'll be salad in heaven, but only for the people who want to eat salad. There's going to be ice cream, root beer floats, chocolate-covered donuts, chocolate brownies, fudge sundaes, all kinds of good things. You can eat all of that you want. But now she said, if you mess up and end up going to the other place, salad's all they have there. That's all they ever serve is salad. There's no other choice. Now I'm going to tell you something. Information like that to someone like me is pretty vital information. Because information like that has kept me on the straight and narrow for many years, firmly on the straight and narrow. I would hate to end up in a place where salad was the only choice on the menu. All right, I tell you what, we have 10 minutes. Let's put something over here. Let me see. Let me put just a little protrusion, not much, just a little protrusion. Something kind of like that. You know what? It might be fall. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's get some colors in there. Let's get some color. Something like that. There we go. Let's have a couple of dark things. Maybe even a couple of things with a hint of yellow in them. Like that. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I always lighten my brush a little bit when I go out over the lake because I want it to look like those are actually leaves. And let's just have a couple of conifer trees here. We got about 8 minutes. This may be a short one today, folks, but that's just how it's going to be. Okay. I don't want too much over here. Actually, I kind of like a tree with mostly back. I better have one big one. You know that? I better have one pretty good sized tree. Not really a big one, but decent sized. You know, just to... and it better go up a little further than that. Okay. And let's have these tall, really thin conifers that you see up there sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. There we go. Yeah. Get that viridian color going in there. That'll make it look good. That'll make it stand out against that mountain. There we go. Yeah. Need to darken up that center trunk a little, give a little more definition, and maybe some little bit of dark color. We got 6 minutes, so let's maybe put some dark color, make it really stand out. And then let's have one little bitty one right beside. Let's just have 2 out there today. Let's have a little one. All right. And make his top stand out a little better. Okay. Make him stand out. Plenty of paint on there. I got to have a little one in between. You know that? I got to have a little one in between here. Yeah, just a little guy. Just kind of closing this gap. Got to make him stand out a little bit. Okay. I'll put a little more color. We got a minute or two. I'm going to put, let's see, let me use this right here. And I'm going to put a little more color in there. Oh, I know what let's do. Here, I got an idea. Let me kind of break this up a little bit here. You know what? Let's have, I'll tell you what, let me get some really dark green here. And let's have something right here in this corner. Maybe something that looks like it's got. Yeah, let's have it go right up on in there. Kind of take this whole thing here, make it look like it's got some leaves on it here and there. And let's really darken up the corner here. Yeah. Okay. Let's have some white flowers. And let's see, let's put those on with this right here. Yeah. Let's just put some white flowers on there. Just to brighten up this corner. Yeah. Clean up that brush a little bit. Okay, we need to round this down a little bit so it looks like it's a patch. Yeah, we don't want it all up on the top. Kind of give it, yeah, make it look like it's a patch of wildflowers. Well, folks, we're going to call that good. For today, that's about 28 minutes, 29 minutes. So we're going to call that good. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you indulging me and let me do an easy one today. We'll do something a little more difficult, more involved next week. In the meantime, thank you again for watching. I appreciate it. Until I see you next week, and I hope to see you next week, God bless and take care.